In 1954, Algeria was under French rule. By 1962, France was gone. So how did a colony break an empire? This is history, not blame. We are here to understand what happened and why it mattered. To understand the Algeria War, you have to understand one uncomfortable fact. Algeria was not treated like just another colony. France invaded Algeria in 1830, and over time, many Europeans settled there. They built lives, farm, businesses, whole communities. And France began to treat Algeria as part of France. Not equal for everyone, but part of France, in the way the state saw it. That created a country inside a country, because most Muslim Algerians did not have the same rights, the same political voice, or the same access to land and power. So imagine what France meant on the ground. One group felt it belonged permanently. The other group lived under a system where the rules were not written for them. After the World War II, the tension got sharper. Many Algerians had fought in the war, worked in the war economy, and watched the world talk about freedom and self-rule. So people ask a simple question. If freedom is real, why doesn't it apply here? In 1945, that question exploded. Protests and unrest were met with heavy repression. Many Algerians took one lesson from that period. Peaceful demands could be ignored or punished. By the early 1950s, more and more people believed reform was not enough. Then came the spark. On November 4th, 1954, a nationalist movement called FLN, the National Liberation Front, launched attacks. It wasn't the biggest army in the world, but it didn't need to be. It needed to prove one thing. Algeria was no longer quiet. France responded with massive force, and what started as an attacks and crackdowns became a full war. This war was not fought only between soldiers on a battlefield. It was fought in villages, in mountain areas, on roads, and later inside cities. The FLN used guerrilla tactics, ambushes, sabotage, hit-and-run attacks. France used the army, police, intelligence networks, and large security operation. Violence grew, and civilians suffered heavily. Now, here is what made this war especially hard to end. Both sides believed they were fighting for the future of the country. For the FLN and many Algerians, it was about independence, full control of their land and politics. For France and many settlers in Algeria, it was about staying, not as visitors, as permanent home. So the conflict wasn't just about politics. It was about identity and belonging. As the war continued, it also started to shake France itself. People in France argued, is Algeria truly part of France? If it is, why does it require so much force to keep it? And how long can this continue? Then the war reached a level of global attention, one turning point, the Battle of Algiers. In the mid to late 1950s, the conflict in Algiers turned into a struggle over power of a major city. Bombings, raids, arrests, and heavy security operations made the world pay attention, and it raised painful questions about the method used in the name of order. We will break that battle down fully in the next episode. But for now, here is why it mattered. Algeria showed that this war could not be kept far away. It was happening in streets and homes, not just in the remote areas. In 1958, the crisis was political as well as military. France's governments fell. A key figure returned to power, Charles de Gaulle. At first, many believed France would hold Algeria forever, but the war kept draining money, lives, and political stability. International pressure grew, and the more the war continued, the harder it became to pretend it could end with a simple victory. Over time, the narration changed from total victory to negotiation. On March 1962, France and the FLN signed Avian Accord. A ceasefire followed, And later that year, Algeria became independent. But independence did not end the pain. Many had been killed. The exact numbers are debated, but the suffering was real. And after independence, huge numbers of European settlers left Algeria quickly. Algeria had to rebuild a new state after years of war and trauma. So what is the key takeaway? Algeria's war of independence proved that colonial rule could be challenged and defeated. But it also shows the cost. When a conflict becomes a fight over belonging, land and power, it doesn't end cleanly. It changes the country that wins, and it changes the empire that loses. Next episode, we zoom into one turning point inside this war, the Battle of Algiers, how urban warfare and repression shaped the conflict. If you want African histories explained clearly, with dates, map and no confusion, subscribe. I will see you there.